started this YouTube channel at the end of last summer, and I was able to get it monetized in December. And today I hit 10,000 subscribers. In this video, I'm going to talk about how much income I'm making through this channel and all the different things I've learned since launching it 8 months ago. At the end, I'll also talk about some other channel-related revenue streams, so definitely stick around for that because they may surprise you. I know they surprised me a little bit. Also, to celebrate hitting 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a little contest and giveaway, but I'll tell you more about that later. I decided to make this video because when I started my channel, I didn't really know what to expect in terms of the possibilities of earning revenue and monetizing my channel. When I tried to do some research, I'd find stuff for like huge channels with just tons and tons of views and like all this crazy money they're making. But there wasn't a ton of information about like smaller channels, maybe art-based channels, channels like my own about illustration, if you didn't know that already. So for me, it was hard to tell if there was even like a way to earn a somewhat decent amount of money making videos if you weren't getting millions and millions and millions of views. So hopefully if you're a smaller creator and you're curious about these same things, maybe this video will shine some light on that and provide some helpful information for you. The main way I make a living is as an illustrator. And as an illustrator, I've always thought it was really important to be transparent about pricing and share information about that kind of thing and not be so secretive about financial stuff. I think there's a lot of that in this industry, and because of that, there's so much confusion about how to price things, and it's all just seen as this sort of like magical calculation. And, you know, when you're starting out as an illustrator, it's very confusing and it's very hard to price things and know what you should be charging. And that's not good for anyone in the industry. So I always try to be transparent about that stuff and share information about what a project should cost or, you know, how I estimate things. But even as someone who's been doing this for over a decade, it's still confusing. And every time I price something, you know, it's still a little bit weird. More transparency in the industry would help everyone. But naturally, I feel the same way about YouTube. So because I was unsure if this channel would make any sort of financial impact on my career, clearly money was not the reason I started this channel. So let's talk a little bit about why I started this channel. So I think there was two initial reasons. The first reason was that I'm also a Skillshare teacher. I noticed that a lot of the people who do really well in Skillshare also have YouTube channels that they could sort of provide some of the information, do some tutorials, and then lead people to their full classes. That made a lot of sense to me. I thought, if nothing else, this would help drive more people to my classes on Skillshare, and I could earn some more income from that. And then the other thing that pushed me to start this channel was actually an old channel that I had that was not related to illustration at all. Several years ago, after like a 10-year hiatus, I decided to start skating again. That was something that I did a lot all through my life and then just sort of stopped for a while. And I was having a lot of fun doing it and started just like recording some random stuff with friends and like decided to post the videos and make a joke about being old and skating, and I called it Roll Over the Hill as like a reference to being over the hill. Get it? Mostly I was just posting like skating clips, but then at one point I made some videos like talking about the stuff I was using when I was skating, and I started getting like a lot of really positive feedback on those videos and people talking about how it was really helpful and they enjoyed listening to me talk about stuff, which was also weird to me. But I was like, this is kind of fun. I enjoy doing this, and it seems like people like to listen to me for some reason. I wouldn't want to listen to me, but other people do. So since I was having fun with that, I was like, what? Maybe I should think about doing this for illustration and the stuff that I do all the time and stuff that's like my main focus. So I had that in the back of my head and the Skillshare stuff. And then for whatever reason, I just said, you know what, I'm doing it. And I just committed to it. And for me, as someone with ADHD, most people think about that as like not being able to like focus or anything like that. But for me, one of the biggest things is just this like hyper focus where I hyper focus on like one thing and I'm just like all consumed by that, and it's hard for me to think about anything else. So I was just like watching tutorials about video stuff, about like making videos and editing videos, all while I was like doing my other work. It was just like all I was thinking about. I think the main way I justified the time commitment to myself was the idea that it would drive people to my Skillshare classes, and that would in turn make money to offset other things. One of my goals has been to try to offset my dependence on client work. I've been doing tons and tons of work for different clients over the past 12 years, and you know, I want to focus more on just like making stuff that I like to make and sharing that stuff and like doing more with my online shop and like online classes and different products and stuff like that. YouTube seemed like the best platform to sort of build a community and facilitate that all happening. So because I already had some classes on Skillshare and I had dabbled making videos with my other YouTube account, felt like I had a little bit of a head start and I could sort of make decent quality videos. It's crazy to think that now, because when I look at the videos that I made at the beginning of this channel, I sort of cringe at the quality. I feel like it's not good enough. And when I look at my previous Skillshare classes, you know, I feel the same way, except for the one that I launched recently, which I've elevated my production quality. But I think because I hyper-focus so much on this YouTube thing and like watch so many tutorials and like was watching videos about gears and like about gear, not gears, about like video gear and recording gear, I learned a whole bunch of stuff. I'm clearly still learning. I make mistakes all the time. I 100% lost track of what I was talking about. I started making the videos. I was filming everything on my iPhone at the beginning. That's how I did my Skillshare classes. I had like one panel light that I bought for Skillshare, and I had an external microphone that I was using to make the audio a little bit better. But anyway, when I committed to making this channel, I decided that I had to make at least one video a week. That's like what I saw online as being like the bare minimum for consistency. And I always knew that consistency was like a super important thing. For me, I sort of built my whole illustration career based on a daily drawing project that I did for 14 years, where I was just posting new work online every single day. And that was how clients found me. So I felt very strongly about consistency, and it's very easy for me to go like all in on that. So it's like one video a week, no matter what. So I was posting new videos each week and just trying to like get better with each one. And after watching too many YouTube videos, I ended up convincing myself that I had to buy a new camera, which is the one I've been using here, which is the Sony ZV-E10. Just switching to this camera, I was like, wow, just dramatically better, and just couldn't believe what a difference it made coming from the iPhone. And I was just like, this is crazy. But the thing is, this was pretty expensive, and I didn't just buy the camera. I bought the camera and a lens to go with it. Now I'm just like spending all this money and not making any money on YouTube. And it was just like, it felt a little crazy, but for some reason I just had it in my head that like I had to keep going. Maybe it was delusional. In December, I was able to get my channel monetized through the YouTube Partner Program. And this was really exciting to me, and just sort of, even though I didn't know how much I would make from that, it was just that I could start earning money on my channel. I was like, okay, it's fine that I bought a camera. This will justify it, and now I'm going to be making money. And I used that to sort of keep me going and justify the expense and the time I was spending on all this stuff. In fact, it sort of made me go a little crazier. I ended up converting a space in my basement to like a totally new office space, so I had more room to do this and have a bigger setup. And you know, I needed this for work anyway, but I really sort of built it around doing it for the YouTube channel. That was like my main thought in the back of my head, but I was like, well, I need the extra space to work. But did I really? But anyway, this is where I am. Love my new office. So glad that I did it. But boy, howdy, that's an expensive project. But in the middle of the construction to build this office, I got my first YouTube AdSense payment. Are you ready? It was $34. So, not great, but hey, it was money from YouTube. I had made a bunch of videos, probably spent $1,000 on gear, probably more if I'm really thinking about it, and I was building a new office to justify this $34 payment. But again, maybe I was delusional, but I was like, that's fine, I'm keep going, it's gonna get better, it's gonna keep going up, making some momentum, and I kept moving forward. So although $34 was a bit of a reality check, it didn't really deter me, because I was seeing my subscriber count go up and up and up, and my views were going up, and I was getting a lot of really, really nice, positive feedback. And that feedback was just really inspiring and made me want to keep going. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much. You kept me going when probably could have stopped pretty easily. So my next payment went up to $73. If you're good at math, that's a double-decker. Not a double-decker. It means my payments doubled. I got double what I had the previous month. So I'm like, well, if this is the momentum, maybe it's going to double every month. I didn't really believe that, but I thought there was a possibility. And on top of that whopping $73, I was also starting to earn a little bit of revenue from affiliate links. I'll talk more about that later. So I guess I want to talk about some of the struggles with starting a new channel. I think for me, one of the biggest issues, which is still an issue, is just how time consuming it is. Another part of my ADHD is just a severe time blindness. I have such a hard time judging time, estimating time, anything to do with time. And I can lose so much time, mostly in the editing phase of the videos. A few different times since I started the channel, I tried to outsource the editing of the videos, and it didn't go that well. I'm sort of particular, and I'm also not great at scripting my videos, so sometimes the recording process can be a little chaotic, and there's a lot of weeding through footage to get something useful. And also with the tutorial type videos, it's hard for a random editor to know what can be cut, what can be made high speed. And as a result, when I tried to outsource the editing, I'd get it back and then I'd spend a whole bunch of other time re-editing it. So it wasn't that helpful. Another thing I've been dealing with is that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I'll just obsess over trying to make the video quality better, or making sure the audio is okay, or trying to set up an angle, or try to change up angles to make it more interesting. It's all very time consuming, and it's all stuff that I don't really have time for. As I mentioned, I'm an illustrator and I'm balancing a bunch of client projects. At the moment, I'm also teaching a class at one of the local universities. So all of this stuff is hard to balance while trying to be crazy perfectionist on making these YouTube videos. Another thing is I'm bad at making shorter videos. I try to make something quick and it ends up being long. And I'm also really unable to know what kind of video is going to be something that I can do quickly. I'll choose something oh, this will be a quick video that I can do, and then it ends up taking me forever to edit for some reason. So the takeaway is I have no idea what I'm doing. And as a result of all this, I'm always finishing my video at the last possible minute to get it uploaded for Tuesday, because that's the random day I chose to upload videos each week. In addition to Fridays, I do Adobe Fresco tips every Friday, a little shorter video. In February, I launched memberships for my channel where members would get access to exclusive videos, longer uncut videos, member exclusive live streams, all kinds of stuff like that. And on a side note, there's also going to be a Discord channel that'll be coming very, very soon. When I first launched the channel memberships, I was completely terrified. I was sort of convinced that no one would join them. I'm why would anyone even want to join this? I almost didn't launch them, and then for a while I was well, maybe I can do a Patreon. I had one in the past that ended up stopping because I felt I wasn't putting out enough stuff to make it valuable for my patrons. But I thought, with YouTube, this will be much easier. I can just post exclusive videos, and it'll be a lot easier to do that kind of stuff. When I was on Patreon, they didn't have the video integration, so it was very hard for me to make special exclusive stuff for my patrons. It was also a struggle to decide whether to relaunch the Patreon or do the YouTube channel memberships. The reason for that is with the YouTube channel memberships, YouTube takes a 30% cut, which is kind of a lot. Patreon takes a very small cut. Currently, I'm still thinking, I don't know, maybe I should just switch over to Patreon, but that's a totally different topic. Quickly after launching my channel memberships, I had several people join as members. Those initial members are still channel members today, which is amazing. So you OGs are amazing, and I'm so glad that you are members, and I'm so thankful for you supporting my channel. Today, the channel has 37 members, which kind of blows me away. I feel that's really great, and I'm just so, humbled or honored or whatever that 37 of you are monetarily supporting this channel and finding that much value in it and wanting to be a part of this. So can't thank you all enough. So even though YouTube takes a 30% cut of the channel membership income, it's still bringing in around $240 a month. And that's a decent chunk of change. In February, I made $150 on YouTube. So although that's not a huge number, it's still double what I made the month before that. And I remember starting to feel this could actually turn into something that might justify all the time that I was spending on it. In March, a few of my videos started getting some more traction. I think they sort of got picked up by the YouTube algorithm. The main one was a video I made comparing Procreate and Adobe Fresco. That video is currently well over 100,000 views, which is kind of crazy. Also sort of bums me out because it's one of my earliest videos and the quality is not the best. And you remember what I said about being a perfectionist. I also need to redo that video because there's a lot of things that have changed since I made it, and people love to point that out in the comments. A couple other videos that got a big bump that month were my paper-like 2.0 review. Is it the 2.0? Whatever, the new Paperlike review, and my review of the iPad mini. Both of those are over 20,000 views, which is pretty good. So as a result of that algorithm action, my subscriber count and my view count started to go way up, and my YouTube income jumped to over $800 for March. This was definitely encouraging and felt like a massive amount of money. But when I think about it, that's still less than like one client illustration project, and I'm spending dramatically more time making, 4 to 8 videos each month. But regardless, it's substantial, and I was very happy about that. This month, my videos don't seem to be getting that YouTube algorithm bump that they were getting last month. In fact, the video I posted today is not doing good at all. And the video I posted on Tuesday, not doing good either. So I'm hoping this isn't a sign that things are going downhill for me. But even with the lack of support from the YouTube algorithm this month, my channel is still set to bring in over $700 for the month. And that's mostly supported by an increase in channel members. So thanks again, members. Another thing I didn't consider when thinking about how this channel could earn income was affiliate links. When I did my first review video, I think it was the Paperlike screen protector, I registered for the Amazon affiliate program so that I could get links that when I share them in my video descriptions and people click on them, I get a little commission if someone makes a purchase. I don't push this stuff too hard, but it's still been a nice addition. I think I average around $100 to $150 a month from Amazon affiliate commissions. And since joining the affiliate thing, I've also become a member of the Amazon influencer program, whatever that means. But it gives me my own Amazon storefront where I can provide links to all the stuff that I use and stuff I recommend and stuff like that, which I always link in my description. And when people buy stuff from there, I get a commission on that. And aside from Amazon, I've made roughly $2,000 from my other affiliate links for like the brushes that I use, the Retro Suppleco brushes that you can find in the description, as well as some of the iPad drawing stands that I've reviewed. So although these tend to be smaller amounts here and there, they all sort of combine into a pile that's starting to be a decent income source. Certainly not full-time by any stretch of the word, but it's getting somewhere. Not that I even have the goal to become a full-time YouTuber or anything like that. That's not what I want to do. I love being an illustrator, but I'd like to sort of spread things out. Do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, make some of my own stuff, just do a little bit of everything. So what else have I learned in the 8 months since I launched this channel? Well, one thing is the community that I've built on YouTube is amazing. I can't believe the amount of support and just the nice comments and great discussion and joining in on live streams. It's just been a pleasure. And it seems like this community is just so much more likely to actually buy the products that I make, like my books or fonts or just other things that I have available than was ever happening on Instagram, even though I have a much larger following on Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, that's another interesting thing. When I started this channel and started to get more subscribers, I assumed it was just coming from the following that I've built over the years on Instagram. But I did like a little poll in my community tab and was just like asking some of my channel members how many of them had been following my work from Instagram and then came over here, or how many discovered me on YouTube. And the large majority discovered me on YouTube, which is crazy to me. I don't know why it's crazy, but it just feels weird. But it's also kind of cool that it's like a new audience. If you're watching this video right now, let me know in the comments if you had seen my work previously on Instagram or any other platform, or if you've been following my work for a while, or you have no idea who I am and you just happen to stumble upon this video and make it all the way through it, which if you did, thank you. I've seen my shop sales go up consistently as this channel has grown, and I can see through the traffic source people directly coming from my YouTube channel at a much higher percentage than would come when I share those same links on Instagram, even though I have 4 times the following over there. I'm really excited about how far this channel has come and the community it's gathered. To celebrate reaching 10,000 subscribers, I'd love for you to make something based on one of my tutorials or using my new skull font, and then share it with me. And then I'll choose 3 of my favorites and send the creators a bunch of stuff, and then I'll make a video featuring those as well. If you want more details on this, check out this other video where I talk about that exclusively. I didn't want to merge it all into one video because that could get confusing. Also, I think I'm legally required to say that YouTube has nothing to do with this contest. They're not responsible for any of my shenanigans. This is just me doing a fun little thing, fun little challenge. Maybe not called a contest. YouTube may kick me out. They're very particular about contests. YouTube is not involved. They have nothing to do with this. But you can find out here. I'm gonna re-research the rules for having a contest to make sure I follow all of them and put them in this video. Okay, thank you all. Good talk.